on this episode of Season 4, Let's Talk.
It is tough in the beginning, I think, and it's going to be tough in the beginning. Like for me, it's still the beginning, and I'm still working out the kinks here and there. And well, luckily, the university I went to was psychology with mixed in with a bit of business as well, because the university is very entrepreneurial focused, so it kind of instills that spirit in you.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Rajiv Show, and I'm your host Rajiv Doreswamy. And this show aims to help reach out to those who are currently struggling in life and to remind you that life is indeed beautiful when you're inspired to make it your own. All right, folks, welcome back to another new episode. And this time, my guest is from Switzerland. Folks, we're going international with the Rajiv Show. And my very first guest from Switzerland, Oskar Woehr. Hey pal, how are you doing? How's it going over there?
Amazing, loving your energy, man. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome, awesome. Could you give a short background of who you are?
Yeah, for sure. Right now, I'm living in Switzerland. I finished my studies in psychology last year, and I'm embarked on my entrepreneurial journey of be- doing life coaching and helping people and businesses work more efficiently and be more productive so that they can live a more joyful and authentic life. That's the business I'm working on right now.
Awesome, awesome. The first question that I have in mind is, if you and I were classmates in high school, who were you? Are you the big guy who's in the field or playing basketball or playing sports, or are you the shy guy who's always into books?
Probably in between.
Oh,
Because I wasn't reading that much. But I liked computers, so I guess I was more the geek or nerd dude. But I would support my friends who were playing basketball by being the camera guy,
ooh,
or playing playing
that's
like
cool.
pool during breaks. Yeah, I think I was more of the shyer type, and that's what people would say as well. Like, why are you shy? But um, no, I still learned a lot, and high school, yeah, it wasn't the best, but still, it wasn't the worst because I tended to stay quiet. Like people would just ignore me, I think.
My second question is, who's your greatest motivator and why?
Who is my greatest motivator?
Yeah.
That's a big one because yeah, I think it's hard to define one person at the moment. I'm really enjoying the work of my business mentor, who's a girl called Lauren Tickner. She's taught me a lot about how to grow a coaching business and just how to understand people better and connect with them through basically providing a solution that they're looking for. That's the her lesson I've taken from her. But otherwise, I really enjoyed Tony Robbins for a bit more mainstream motivators, just because his energy is infectious and everything that he's doing is done with so much energy. And that's why I try to do as well, to bring everything to the table and really give it your all. I think that's super important too.
Interesting.
And
And my third question is, what made you who you are? I'm sure this is a very big question for you.
what made me who I am? Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember when you sent this question, I was like, huh, yeah, that is difficult to answer because there's so many moments in time that can be associated with this, like who I am. Right now, I'm super into personal development and coaching and teaching about this because I also do online trainings, especially during this time of the quarantine. And yeah, actually during high school, I would say that I had a friend who introduced me to meditation and different forms of that. That was one of the big tipping points, I think, just trying understanding what that is and what is possible with the human mind. Then after high school, I took a gap year to figure out what I wanted to do. And I got this book called The Happiness Advantage from my parents. The author is called Shawn Achor, and that book was really interesting. That book shifted my perspective, and I was like, yes, I now I'm certain I want to study psychology and more focused on positive psychology even. And yeah, basically the book is talks about how the way that you frame situations in your mind and how you see your life shapes your emotions and how you react to situations. Like an example in the book is where the author talks about how when he was a kid, him and his sister used to play on their bunk bed, just playing with Barbies or toys or whatever.
Mm.
And the his sister accidentally fell off the bunk bed, and like she was about to start crying because she felt hurt. Yeah, but she landed on her hands and knees, and just before she started crying, the author dude, he was like, "Look, sister, you landed on your hands and knees. You must be a unicorn." Then she was like, "Whoa, I must be a unicorn. That's so cool." And basically, yeah, that little shift in her mindset of like instead of feeling like the hurt sister that yeah off a bunk bed, she's like, "Oh my gosh, she might have superpowers," something like that. But it's completely like took away the mind from the pain and shifted her focus. That was a big part for me in like what has made me today in positive psychology. Then I also went to on to study psychology in university, and yeah, I've been enjoying it ever since.
Awesome. And my fourth question is, if today was yesterday, what would you keep and what would you let go of?
If today was yesterday, what would I keep and what would I let go of? Hmm, bad sleeping habits, I would say. I'm That's still one that I would love to improve on, just getting a consistent sleep routine. And I feel like you might be able to relate since you were saying that you go to bed at 4 a.m. sometimes.
That's true.
But yeah, although I don't go to bed that late, I still want to have like a more consistent routine where I can wake up early-ish because I feel like I'm always more productive in the morning. And yeah, it was good. And also having something early, an appointment in the morning like this or a call, is good for accountability because then whoever you're meeting with is like, yeah, make sure that you're there. And as a person that's in my personality type, I don't like to disappoint people too much, then I'm more likely to follow up on this um, decision and stick to it if I have other people keep me accountable. So yeah, my sleep routines, I would say, probably.
Uh, Interesting. And what are your thoughts for the future? That's my last question.
Yeah, sure. What are my thoughts for the future?
Yeah,
I love the future. I think it's super cool, especially now where we can everything can be done digitally. I'm very much into tech as well, since especially now since my work is online, and I'm excited about the future, like what it holds, and how we're digitally advancing. Basically, yeah, trying how everybody's going to keep on being more and more connected. How we can have podcasts seamlessly across the world. I love that. That's so cool. And yeah, hopefully we can also be in virtual reality soon while recording our own podcast. So I'm excited for that.
awesome. All right. We're gonna get into the motivation and philosophy segment where I want to ask you, since you said you mentioned psychology earlier, what is the motivational or philosophical quote that you kept throughout your journey from humble beginnings, of course, till entrepreneurship? Like, what's that quotation that you kept with you for a very long time?
So when it comes to quotes, actually, I'm before I answer your question, I'm very curious because there are a couple quotes that come to mind, but I'm actually super interested. When you ask this question to other people, do you find that people in general have a quote that they live by in life, Rajiv?
Mostly, yes. Most of the people that I know of.
That's super interesting. Yeah, because I haven't asked this question, but definitely for me, like there are two quotes that come up. One that I got from a friend in high school. He said that if you don't ask, the answer is automatically a no. So which is basically, yeah, you gotta just ask. And the worst that you can get is a no if you ask for what you want. And then the second one that I got from a mentor of mine in like 2 or 3 years ago was trust the process, which is kind of similar. And that one resonates with me because it's about, yeah, letting go of any fears or expectations as well, and simply knowing that everything will work out and to trust the process. Yeah.
Interesting. And then we're gonna switch on to our my favorite topic, which is entrepreneurship talk segment. Since you mentioned earlier that you are on an entrepreneur, my first question
Mhm.
from entrepreneurship is, um, how does how does it feel to work in a uh, how does it feel to work in a new environment? Are you still adapting? Have you adapt? Are you still in the learning stage,
Mhm.
or you're in the mid? What level are you at, and how are you
Yeah,
coping with that?
yeah, for sure. That's a good one because basically, so I finished university last year, July last year, and for the first until the end of 2019, basically, was quite hectic, like trying to figure out what the fuck am I doing, how am I supposed to work, and not having a routine. And yeah, that wasn't too great. And until then, yeah, I just didn't have a plan, I think, because well, at least I felt like I wasn't progressing, but I was just playing video games all day as well. So basically, I didn't know what I wanted, I think. But I wanted to try this entrepreneurial journey, and luckily, I was able to, yeah, go back to living with my parents and try that out. And then, when in January, my dad and I, because we also have a startup together, we created a more concrete plan for that, and also myself for my coaching um, business. I've, yeah, now I'm in the stage where I'm making, yeah, taking action daily, and I know what I need to do to grow my businesses. So yeah, right now I'm in this phase of basically growing it. And but one thing that really helped me in my current coaching business is getting a mentor and a business coach. So like 6 weeks ago, I bought this course where I get coaching and have material to go through by myself, and that's really changed my perspective because this is a person that's done what I already want to do, and she's teaching me everything that I need basically to work and progress so much faster, and it's helped me a shit ton. That's what that's where I'm at right now.
Awesome. Uh, Before I get into the next question, we're gonna have a short break, and then I will see you folks in a while. Calling in collectors from around the Philippines. Are you looking for a valuable history lesson about Baguio City, or you just want to collect stuff that brings you back in time? Check out Hobby Depot Baguio, which is located at Kuwis number 8 Prudential Life Building below Jollibee, Assumption Road, Baguio City. You can also find them on Facebook at Hobby Depot Baguio. Hobby Depot Baguio, the one-stop shop for everything hobby related. All right, folks, welcome back. I'm with Oskar Woehr, a phenomenal Swiss entrepreneur, a game changer. I do believe he is a game changer. And
Thanks, man.
my my next question is, what are the what are the things that you've battled when you started out? Was it more on the psychological stuff, or when you were getting into? Because for me personally, transitioning into entrepreneurship is tough. One is,
Mm,
uh, it's not an easy journey, and two is, some people take it as a joke from the audience perspective. If you say, "Hey, I'm going to be an entrepreneur," and
mm-hmm,
then once you get into the game, it's like you're already beaten down. On your first leg, you're already beaten up by the fact that many people, that there's so many things. So what is your
mm.
mindset entering into a different realm after after moving from psychology to business?
Yeah, for sure. It is tough in the beginning, I think, and it's going to be tough in the beginning. Like for me, it's still the beginning, and I'm still working out the kinks here and there. And well, luckily, the university I went to was psychology with mixed in with a bit of business as well, because the university is very entrepreneurial focused, so it kind of instills that spirit in you. And yeah, in the beginning, like definitely the depends on what culture and what people you surround yourself with, but it can be very difficult if you don't have the support. But for me, luckily my parents have been very supportive, and they're like, yeah, do whatever you want, and I can live at their house until I figure it out and have really grown this to a decent level. So, but yeah, it has been difficult because I haven't been socializing as much and just doing work most of the days. So that's been tough. But as I was saying before, being able to create a plan where you see consistent progress and growth, that's really one of the keys that I've been focusing on these days, and now it's taking off quite well.
Interesting. And getting back into your mention, you mentioned just recently, you said plan. What is
Hmm.
your, when you graduated from psychology, did you have a plan, or it was like, um, how did you discover the word entrepreneur? That's basically the question, and connecting
Yeah.
that to planning and self development.
I don't think I had a concrete plan, but I know I didn't want to go work in a company straight away. So the plan was to not do that. So it was an anti-plan. And yeah, because of that lack of planning, I wasn't completely sure, but I had been into coaching for since high school, and positive psychology at least. And during university as well, during the 4 years, I had done different projects, created a conference, for example. So that was one of my biggest projects. And so I had already a little bit of experience to like create something. And yeah, for anybody that hasn't created something, I think that's like the first step, to simply try and make something happen in the world, be it yeah, a conference, an event, uh, bringing people together. That's my favorite type of creation. I think is bringing people together. But in terms of planning, yeah, when did I discover entrepreneurship? It was during university, I would say, because a lot of people were there were focused on that and just creating different things, like doing startups or wanting to build their own mini businesses. Like one weekend I sold pancakes from my house because I was like, okay, I like making pancakes and I'm good at it. And it's sunny, so people will want brunch, and boom, let's make it for a charity, and I'll keep half of the profits. And then yeah, then I did that, and I got like 30 euros, so that was pretty cool. That was like one little project, but super simple. Like you can invite your friends and try something out if it's something that you're curious about.
Wow,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of guts to take that leap. I guess I don't know
Mm.
if you agree with me. That's one thing. Taking that leap is one of the things, the hardest.
Yeah,
And
I think it can be, and it
yeah,
definitely depends on your environment as well. Like, luckily, my environment was very supportive, of trying new things. And yeah, especially like for this pancake project, I had one friend that was like, who was studying law, and he was like, watch out, if you poison somebody you could get sued. I was like, man, why are you giving me this? Because then I was like, I was hesitating if I should do it or not, but I was like, no, it's very unlikely that I'm going to poison somebody because it's pancakes. And yeah, then I still went ahead of it, and my roommates were like, yeah, it's fine. And anyway, everybody that attended were like friendly people and people I knew, so it was totally fine. But there will always be a little bit of opposition, I feel.
And my last question for the entrepreneurship segment is that do you still apply psychological practices that you've learned, or you've like you've went with your gut when you started once you ventured out into entrepreneurship, or was it just that you took the entrepreneurship thing and then
Hmm.
you for it's like the reason why I'm asking this is because now that I'm transitioning from music and arts, I want to transition into entrepreneurship, not just for the sake of the money, but it's also for the sake of the livelihood. And of
Mm.
course, it's a, as I mentioned earlier, it's a different ball game. It's, you know, there's a lot of due diligence, not just from the monetary side. It's also the emotional, who you associate yourself with, the vibe of
Hmm.
people. So for me, I'm really looking to stem out from the
Yeah.
music community and the art community, because the way I see it,
Hmm.
it's like a habit. Basically, if you're used to, you mentioned also morning routines. It's like it's like a habit where if you sleep on the on a regular basis, you know, it becomes for 10 years, for the next
Yeah.
succeeding 50 years, probably it's going to be the same pattern. So for me, I really
Yeah.
want to disconnect my habits with music and arts so that I can focus and learn and grow more on entrepreneurship. Is that the same thing with you and psychology
Mm.
and entrepreneurship? Did you disconnect, or are you planning to
Mm.
disconnect with psychology, or you're using it to your advantage, like you're using it to your own play?
Hmm. Yeah. I think it can still be part of your entrepreneurial journey. Entrepreneurship is just one way of life. And I think that is a great idea and mindset to have, but it doesn't mean that you need to let go of the other things that you enjoy, like art, music, and for me, psychology. For me, psychology is still one of my favorite things. And entrepreneurship is just another state of mind where I'm trying to associate myself with similar minded people who are really thriving and going for the business. So being able to mix these things, I think, is super important. You're still doing art now, I think, by recording this podcast. So, but as well, being entrepreneurial, you could say, by reaching out to people, getting to know international in an international environment, and being able to mix those things, I think, is still important. But basically, entrepreneurship is being able to provide a solution to somebody's problem, or what somebody's curious about. And yeah, you could do that through art, psychology, or music even. So I feel like those are the bases, and entrepreneurship is like the method, probably.
Interesting. So now we're gonna get into one of my favorite segments, which is
Hmm.
the "What Inspires You" segment. This segment. We're gonna. This is a monologue for my interviewees, for them to talk about what inspires them, basically.
What inspires me? People doing awesome things, and especially people who are where I want to be in terms of like maybe creating a team, or especially when building a business, in terms of the next revenue level. And that's the summary. That's inspiring me the most right now.
Awesome, awesome. Uh, Pal, if my listeners want to connect with you, how do they connect with you on social media? Where do they follow you, or how do they follow you?
Yeah, I'm on all social media. even TikTok, although I'm not posting there very much. It's Oskar Woehr, so Oscar with a K and then Woehr, Wehr. And yeah, on Facebook, on Instagram as well, and on LinkedIn. I check all of them regularly and love hearing from people who want to learn more about becoming more productive and living a more authentic life. Yeah. Also, I have a podcast called The Learning Experience, and that one's all about the science of learning and how we can learn better.
Awesome. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you so much. I hope I haven't woke up the Swiss. uh, Thank you so much for guessing on my show. And
Thank you so much. Man, it's
us,
actually been cool. I mean, just to let somebody speak about themselves, that's really um really kind and honorable of you, because people love talking about themselves, like I was saying to you before we hit record.
yeah.
And for me, I think it's also just a great way of like putting my thoughts into words and being able to express myself a bit better. But yeah, so I really thank you for this. It's been a wonderful time.
And also for those who are tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you folks in the next episode. Cheers.